3 easy steps to find morels. Step 1, carefully walk through the woods and slowly scan for the sight of dead trees. Step 2, when you see a dead tree, approach the tree and try to identify the species. So the elm tree has flat bark that's gray. You can see the creases in between the bark aren't very deep. It's flat, right? It's smoother than other barks, okay? Next thing to understand is that the elms typically have this little like lateral root, this buttress coming out. And so this sticks up out of the ground and it turns into a root system. Other trees, like this hackberry, they don't have that. And you can see that the bark is not flat. So flat bark, shallow creases, buttress. Step 3, observe the condition of the bark. If it's a recently killed tree, the bark will just barely be coming off. If the bark is coming off in sheets, then that tree is too old. Lastly, enjoy your morels. I found some morels over here. Now, if you really love nature, you'll get down on the ground and crawl, because you always think there's just one more. Ow. I see one more right there. See? It's like your brain has to be accustomed to recognizing this spongy texture right here. Yep. Look at that. Being careful not to crush any other ones with my feet when I'm kneeling. Another one right here. Right here. So this bark right here, just barely coming off. Very good sign. Right here. Very hard to see. They are so hard to see. Like, you see one, you look away, and when you look back, it's gone. There's one hiding underneath this nettle. It also depends on what angle you look at, right? Because looking down the hill, I did not see this one. But then when I went down and looked up the hill, then I did. Man. All right, so I found 5 or 6 morels. And so the next thing to do is to carefully walk around the tree to see if there's just one more, because there usually is. But you have to be careful not to step on it because they're pretty well camouflaged. Just barely coming off. If somebody dropped us off here in the woods and said, okay, good luck surviving, see ya, the very first thing that we would find to eat would be stinging nettles. And even though they're full of toxic little needles, all you have to do is boil them and they're completely edible. And then the second thing that we would probably find is clams. All you have to do is go over to the river and wade around in the water barefoot, and you'll feel clams in the sandy spots, and then you can just collect them all and cook them over the fire. And that would be an extremely nutritious diet until we were strong enough and good enough to find other food sources. And that's how your digestive system is designed. It's designed for that type of food. And if you look at what the food is made up of, you'll see there's a stark ratio, right? So like the stinging nettles are mostly fiber with low carbohydrates. So it's high fiber, high vitamins, low carbohydrates. And the clams would be very high in protein, very low in fat. And so those are the correct ratios. That's what you're supposed to eat, because that's what 10,000 years of adaptation has given rise to. Now there would also be berries, so we could find sugar, right? But the sugar in the form of wild berries is only available for 3 months out of the year, if that. And you'd have to work very hard going up and down these hills all day long to get enough sugar. And so because it's available for 3 months out of the year, that too is ratioed. We could also find carbohydrates in roots and tubers. You'd have to do a lot of digging, and you'd have to dig up these roots and tubers and boil them and beat them with rocks and boil them some more, and in order to get the carbohydrates out. So it would be a lot of exercise just to get a moderate amount of carbohydrates. And lastly, there's fat. During the winter time, you could probably trap some animals that spent all summer eating berries and reserving fat in their tissue. So you could find animals that have high fat content, like raccoons. If you want to eat raccoons or possums, they would have fat in their muscle tissue. But once again, that's a ratio that wouldn't be that way for very long. So when you think about like what you should eat or how you should eat, it's not that it's all like carnivore diet or protein, carbs, whatever. It's more about ratios. You have to get the ratio to be more natural. If the ratio is natural, then you've got a healthy diet.